Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Five of Discs. And so we have a little bit of worry. Okay, so immediately I'm seeing a big face here. And it doesn't look very happy, does it? We have two eyes, a nose, kind of the mouth here, maybe the hair over here, looking out this way, okay? So it does kind of look like maybe like angry grandpa, angry dad. And I immediately get this feeling of this. It just is. It's like a I am trying everything to not be like whatever, how I was, some aspect of how I was raised. I'm not going to carry the same crosswords, or not crosswords like puzzles, crosswords like angry words, the rage, the belittlement, being made to feel small. You are not going to be the person to do that to other people. And although you probably love, dad, grandpa, uncle, brother, whoever this is, and will always love them, I think you noticed and you see the parts of how they maybe handled things, their demeanor, especially maybe under stress or when things were not going well, and decided from an early age that you are going to do everything within your power not to kind of live out the same whatever, the output of energy. And I think this is a real focal point of your work. Because I do think, and it's not just you, it's all of us. I think that there is anger here. And I think probably because you grew up maybe in a household where there was yelling or kind of some kinds of emotional warfare at times, maybe emotional manipulation, just maybe not very good at communicating with one another. And even if you have kind of rejected these things when we are young, that it's kind of like encoded into us, and they are things that we can spend most of our lives trying to unlearn, right? And I feel like you really have worked so diligently to do something else. And for one reason or another, this is on your mind. Maybe there has been a situation where you kind of lost your cool, you maybe got frustrated, maybe you said or did something that you really kind of wish you hadn't. It feels like quite a setback or a betrayal. And, and this can be very difficult. But you cannot judge yourself based on, one experience or a series of kind of, failures. I kicked the thing. I'm sorry. And so be kind to yourself. I mean, it's really important. You be kind to yourself. You allow yourself to sometimes make these missteps, but you also go and make amends immediately, right? With whoever or whatever happened. you go and you say you're sorry, you take responsibility, and you make things right. And maybe they can't be perfect right off the, right at the jump of things, but you stay the course, and in that process of healing, there's a lot to be learned there. Okay, so be easy and empathetic with yourself. Okay. All right, and so we have this beautiful image of a boat we can see right here. Immediately I saw that we had two birds, and now they do kind of remind me, although not exactly because I think the tails are a little different, but they do remind me of the sacred ibis bird. I almost said berg. Ibis bird. And we know that this bird was quite sacred in the Near East, and obviously like Northern Africa, where Egypt, and we have the god Thoth in his ibis form. And so I do feel like there's a sense of magic, as we know Thoth is the god of magic, among many other things. But so we have this movement. When we have the boat, we know that there is intentional movement of energies in your life. You are working diligently. Again, diligently. And this is a word used often with Capricorn, right? You are focusing on, I think breaking those generational traumas, abuses, curses, whatever you apply to them, but deciding to kind of break that chain that kind of has bound, maybe the family line, or it could be the community, the small community that you kind of identify with or live within. And I think that you really have been so brave in this kind of maybe living an unconventional life, and very focused on this self-evolution, turning into that interior landscape, to kind of learn about, it is as varied as the outer world, isn't it? And so, so many different things to kind of, to learn about. But I do think that magic here is very important to you. You may be a practitioner or have some interest. You maybe are coming into your powers. Maybe you are somebody who is clairvoyant, a medium, channeling. You might be somebody who has a calling to low or folk magic, some kind of composite magic, or so on. And maybe it is that you are somebody drawn to more ceremonial paths. But whatever it is, I think that this is something that it feels quite innate in you, and maybe something that is through the family line, but it comes so naturally. And I do feel that as you explore more deeply, and it reveals itself to you. I just keep feeling like you've been having dreams of maybe like a guardian angel or some kind of guide. It could be an elder, but somebody visiting you, some kind of intelligence. But it's interesting because they don't show themselves to you. I think that this is almost kind of along the lines of a disembodied voice, or some kind of, if you try to look, you can't see it, disappears kind of thing. And I feel kind of showing you things. You are having an education in your dreamscape. And I think that this is helping lead you into some kind of spiritual, magical practices in your waking life. Now, I do think that this will not only help kind of transition some of these energies, help you work through the blockages and, again, that generational trauma, but I also think that this kind of focus outside of your career path or the work that you do, I think that this is a very healthy balance. And I think that it is something that will bring more and more exploration to you. I see we have a person looking through a telescope out into, the wide open sky. And we have on the rim here, the metaphysical. Well, it's pointed right at that area. So I feel like there is a sense of looking into the physical unknown, the night skies, but also figuring out your relationship with the divine. I feel like even maybe for the first time in your life, have you even cared so much about this? I think that a lot of your life you have been so focused on maybe academic work, going into a career of some kind, and maybe having a family and work. And in this portion of your life, I do feel like you are getting into that place of individuation. And this is that we are kind of coming to terms with aspects of self, learning to embrace the many sides of our being. And at that same time, gaining access to parts of our ability that maybe weren't so apparent before, because we weren't really looking for that, were we? Maybe always felt a little bit different, maybe felt a little more intuitive or empathic, or just kind of able to manifest the things that you really put your intention into, and this kind of thing. But now kind of finding out that, you really do have such a psychic ability here. You really are quite a magical being. And so I could see this kind of really being the focus of life for, the next while, at least this next cycle, but maybe a very large part of your passion for the rest of your years, in one capacity or another. Now, we also have a large E up here. We have an E, so maybe an E name or an E word. We also have a little dog here. It feels like maybe there was a dog at some point in your life. And I almost kind of wonder if it was like some kind of little terrier, maybe like a mix, an unknown mix of a dog. But I feel like when you were young, this dog kind of really only cared for you. You were the one in the household that it really was drawn to. And this was your dog. And I think that you even have dreams about it, even now, all these years later. And it's interesting because it kind of almost feels like this dog is coming through and is still by your side. And I feel like you even sometimes think that you see it out in the world. You're walking down the street and you see a little dog and you think, oh, you know, there's my dog. But then you remember it's been all these many years. Sometimes maybe you hear the dog barking in such a way that it really brings you back to that same emotional state you had with the dog. You're very immersed in that feeling, that sensation, and I feel like it's a very welcome reminder. Yes, indeed, and I do think that your puppy is still with you and will continue to be. It will definitely, until you are kind of reunited with one another. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, we have a person kind of reading here. It looks like kind of reading maybe a scroll of some kind. We have another E right there. I'm looking up here. We have J. Almost looks like J-E-D, like Jed, maybe? Or maybe Jen. And I'm kind of imagining, it almost feels like maybe this is the person from the beginning here. Because it kind of almost seems like somebody yelling. I almost kind of imagine like the chaos of the morning, and they're trying to, like, you know, read the paper or do the crossword or whatever, and just absolutely not being able to deal with the noise of kids around. And I feel like it almost is like you're like walking on eggshells there. And it does. I feel like there's just this, I can feel there are times when there's just such anxiety about even just being yourself, making noise, or taking up too much space, or, you know, being too animated. It's like you want to kind of disappear into, you know, the background a little bit to not be noticed. And, you know, I feel like it's unfortunate that it had to be like that. Because that's a lot to kind of undo or try to come to terms with, you know, and so I do think that this is something that I don't know what brought it up. Maybe it's that you have grandkids now, or you kind of, maybe you're the same age as this parent when, you know, when you were a kid. This is how old you're now, their age, you have kids, kind of deal. But I feel like there's a sense of really trying to understand, forgive, and do better. Right? And it's not easy because I think it feels like why did it have to be like that? You know, why did you have to bear the burden of however somebody else is feeling, right? And it made you feel kind of like a stranger in your own home sometimes. And so that has carried on through your life. But I do think that, you know, the best way that we can try to get through these kinds of feelings with people who we love, and it's not that there's any lack of love, it's just hard to understand how somebody you love could behave this way. And, you know, I'll just say that this wasn't my exact situation, but, you know, like most people, I had problems with my parents, and my parents actually passed away when I was 11 and 12 years old. So lots of resentment there, abandonment, and, you know, this underlying feeling of like, oh, why couldn't they figure out how to live, you know, for my siblings and I. And, you know, it made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And that carried on and still does. It comes up in my life, you know, once in a while. And it's something that even through lots of therapy, it still comes up, you know. So I can understand, I can empathize with this kind of complex love, trying to humanize, you know, what it is to be a parent, but at the same time being like, I don't understand how it was so difficult, you know. I have a child now too, you know, and it's like, of course I'm not a perfect parent, but I wish that, I wish my parents were here to know her, and I wish that I had a relationship with my parents like I do with my daughter and my family, my husband and my daughter, and how they are together. And, you know, it's hard to understand. So, you know, it's something that is never, I don't think it ever just gets better. I think it's something that we just have to continually figure out when it starts to rise up. And, but, you know, looking at things that are difficult like that, learning to not succumb to it, you know, and actively deciding we're going to change how we do things around here, right? My goodness, what strength. It is strength. And really kind of pushing against that worry of failure, of repeating the cycles, and not fulfilling that prophecy, right? You're going to be just like your parents. You're going to be just like this, just like that. You know, no. Don't put that on me. Now we do have a couple of sixes. We have sixes. I'm not going to lift it up, but I have another 6 here. So I think I've had 4 sixes, 6, 6, 6, 6. And so that seems important. Now we have another person beneath the sun. And this has to be, I had it in my last reading. And so it must be to do with this eclipse that's coming up. Will you be witnessing it? If you are, let me know. I'm interested. But I do feel like this is a time, you know, we've had this big solar emission, yes, and emission, not admission, emission. Oh, Lenor. And so, yes, I think it affects us, of course. But I also think with this eclipse energy, things are a little bit squirrely. And you know, the change of the seasons as well, and all of these holidays going on and coming up, and we are in the midst of the Passion Week. I think Holy Week is next week. I forget if it goes by the Orthodox calendar or not, but you know, these big holidays as well, and Ramadan and all of the fertility and harvest and so on. Is Passover? I have to look it up. I always forget. What is what? There's so many reasons. See, for me, I think, there's so many reasons to cook. So many things to cook about this year. No, Passover is not until the end of April. So that's not for a minute. Excuse me. Still fighting this cold we have going on here. Flu. It was the flu. Now I don't know what it is. It's the cold maybe. But whatever it is. You got a lot. We all have a lot going on. You might notice people acting a little goofy these next few days for sure. But I do think it's just a real a good time to implement those kind of grounding techniques. Getting into water. Get into water when you can. Take a shower, take a bath, go swimming, whatever it is. It brings you right back to that middle place. Doing intentional movement, breath work, poses, postures, passes, whatever else. A lot of like different mindfulness techniques, meditation, visualization, and stimming, my favorites, different kinds of stimming things. But yes, just remembering yourself. Okay, don't get too unraveled here. I had 2 days of just absolute, and I think I was getting better and then I was getting sick again. Then we had this full moon coming, and right now it's peak full moon as we're doing this reading. And I cried for 2 days basically. Just everything made me cry. I'm even embarrassed to say I shouldn't be embarrassed. Really, ultimately, I think it's important for our kids to see our emotional side, to some degree. But I was carrying a basket of laundry. My daughter didn't want to move out of the walkway that I was going down. And she just stood there. Because she's almost 4. She's pushing boundaries. And I'm very proud of her. But I was like, okay, I need to get through. Can you move? No, I'm not moving, Mom. And I started bawling. And she just looked at me like, what is going on? What is wrong? I'm like, I'm sorry. I just don't feel good. So, it's been just one of those, it's a bunch of different things from all directions, right? So, I think all the grounding things, definitely get to it. If you are feeling like I'm feeling, even just a little bit, I've been implementing all of my different go-tos. And also I got some good sleep, so that also helped. I think the sleep health is so important. I don't think we realize, maybe as you get older, and that's the thing. I didn't realize it until I got older. And then everything is connected to my sleep. So, definitely something to also think about, making sure that you are getting restful and restorative sleep. Okay, let's take a look. We have the lightness of being affirmation cards. These are the earth element. And I'm going to go ahead. We'll flip through. Stop where it feels right. Ooh, we have it's raining right now as we speak. I can hear it outside. And it says, divine will, blessings, relax into profound stillness, initiate good intention, healing love. Yes. I like it. All right, Capricorn. I want to tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such a pleasure and an honor to be able to spend this time with you and bring these messages. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. I love to connect with each and every one of you. And also, if you have a small business, some kind of service or a channel that you would like to advertise, I have a post over in the community section where you can go and put your information. I like to put that post up every few months or every couple months or once a month. It just depends whenever I kind of think about it. Because you all support myself and my husband's work. My husband, Dove and Serpent Tarot, his name is Paul. You've probably seen him, probably watched his tarot videos. He's hard to miss. He's gorgeous. He has a wonderful voice. He's got that Mr. Rogers steez. And overall, a 10 out of 10. Not that I'm biased, but yes, he is fantastic. So anyways, you all support us and have such kind things to say and just really, there's a lot of people who have been here for months and months and months, and I've gotten to know you through the comments and stuff. And so anyways, I think it's so important for us to kind of help lift each other up. I have a little tiny section of the internet here, a tiny little corridor of the internet. And Paul has a lot of subscribers. He has the same post up, by the way. If you want to go over to his channel, check out some of his readings and put your business on his community posts. But yeah, it's important to kind of support each other. Fully believe that. Giving back to the community, all of us. Excuse me, my goodness. So, yeah. Yes. And I apologize. Just, this cough. So, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and if you don't have this is the other thing. If you don't have a service or a channel or anything you want to advertise, still go look at the list because there's a ton of really cool people doing interesting work. And my favorite thing about putting up the posts is really selfish, actually. I like to go and check out all the websites. I check out all of the channels. I subscribe. I look at the readings and all the other things that people are creating. And it's just, I'm amazed at just how versatile, how talented people are. It's really mind-blowing. So I always love doing those posts because it's just so many cool people. And I feel really blessed to be introduced to so much amazing work. So anyways, it's definitely worth your time to go check those out. All right, Capricorn, I'll stop rambling and just tell you again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.